Thank you so much, Otto, for speaking with us today. Can you please just introduce yourself and tell us why exactly you're here with us today?
My name is Otto Kapuka. Why I'm here today, but before we get to why I'm here today, I'm a motivational speaker. Almost few more hours to become an author. I also do radio, but also do a bit of TV here and there. Why I'm here today, I'm actually here to share one of my greatest achievement ever since I've been on planet Earth. It's a beautiful achievement, and this is one of the exciting time for me to be alive, to really see my dreams coming to pass in life. And that greatest achievement is obviously the book that I have written.
Okay. So what really inspired you, or what prompted you to write this book?
What inspired me to write this book, I haven't thought that I would have a book out one day. But one of our friends kept on saying with one of my other friends that we should write a book. Ever since we got to radio, we should write a book, we should write a book. I think for almost now 8 years, this person has been persistent. We should write a book and we should write a book. And I think last year she really got to me that, can you please write a book, because you have so much information to share, you have so much wisdom. But also going back to the whole thing of motivational speaking and also living my purpose in life, which is to influence people live a positive life, is that there are different platforms that you can reach out to people, and I needed to identify this platform. One of them is radio, the other one is TV, the other one is social media. And then when this friend kept on saying we should write a book, I'm like, okay, well, can we just not then add the component of writing and having materials out that if a person is unable to listen to radio, unable to attend the workshops and the motivational events that we are having, can they just not have the book and then they can read the book? Because most of the information that goes around are actually the information that have gotten in the book. So that's really one of the main reasons that I get to reach out to people on different platforms where they cannot reach me. At least they have these different varieties. For example, if a person cannot afford to get into a training, what do? They just switch on radio at their favorite show, and then they listen to radio. Now they can equally just buy a book and then they read, and that's it.
If you can give us maybe a brief description of what the book is all about.
The book is an inspirational book. I'm coming from a school of thought that says I believe people are created for a specific reason, and that specific reason is between you and God. It's not between you and your parents, it's not between you and society, it's not between you and your boss, it's not between you and anybody else. There is that major reason why you exist. And so I'm discussing our principle to say the title of the book is Unleashing and Honoring Your Invisible Contract. So that contract is between you and God, and you cannot see it, but you know there is something that is deep down in you that you're supposed to be doing. Now we have people who are frustrated in their work, we have people who are frustrated and they don't know what they were supposed to do, probably because their mother or their father had told them to do something that they really don't love to do. And eventually some of them end up getting married, and then now they cannot go further their studies so that they can do things that they truly love. So we're discussing principles on how you can unleash and honor that invisible contract. But also, I think people don't know me. They see me speaking, they see me doing all these other things, but they also don't know what goes behind the curtains as to the challenges that I'm facing, the lessons that I'm picking up each and every single day. And so in every chapter almost, I'm speaking about something, but then I'm also bringing in my story, which is our Namibian story, to make sure that if you are reading it, you can also tell yourself that, well, if Otto have gone all this extra mile to make sure that he become the best at what he's doing, why can I not become the best at what I do? Not becoming the best at what Otto is doing, becoming the best at what you do. I think there's a chapter, Mastering Your Art in Life. And there's a part where I've mentioned that if you want to become a teacher and your calling is teaching, then you must really go out and become the best teacher. If you are a soccer player, for example, because soccer is also an art, and it's what a lot of people, it brings joy to a lot of people. Everybody stays up at night just to watch UEFA champion because there's a piece of art that is being demonstrated. So if you want to become a soccer player, be the best. If you want to become a doctor, be the best doctor, because when we become the best at what we do, we are actually helping other people. But also at the end of it, we get the rewards. But we need to invest in that specific talent or in that specific art. So you find a lot of chapters that talks about these things, all the things that you want to do, but also perhaps I'm giving you a different perspective as how you would have approached it.
Okay. I actually understand that most people that write these inspirational books, are a bit of the older age, people that have lived it, now they're old, they're telling the story. So how did you manage to pull this off, being young, and you managed to write an inspirational book?
I think that's a beautiful thing. If you backdate, I've been in the line of work almost for 8 years now, and I've been doing the similar things. I've been living the experience myself. I've been helping people who are going through these situations. I've been reading books, I've been attending workshops, I have been doing workshops myself. So it's only fair that I shouldn't wait until I'm 40 or I'm 50 to actually write a book. Because when I'm going to reach 50, there's also going to be another experience that would need to be written. So it's only fair that all this that I have picked up for the past years, the things that I have experienced, the things that I have picked up, it's only fair if we document it now, because I think it will really be pointless for somebody who have been following me for almost 20 years just to get a piece of my writing in 20 years' time. It will not be fair. In 20 years' time, they should be getting something bigger and something better. And then when they look back, they'll be like, okay, so this person has been here, this is where they're coming from, this is what they're doing, now this is where they're heading. If a person reads this book right now, when they're going to read the second book that I'm busy with, you literally connect the experience from this book, the one that we are currently publishing by Friday, to the next one that is going to come out. Because there are certain places where I left you hanging as to, okay, so the company that I was running, for example, got into debt. I moved the company, I moved my office in the room. Okay, so then what happened? What happened? Is the company still in the room as we are speaking right now? I don't think so. Probably it have moved out. But then you would need now to pick up the experience from this specific one to say, oh, so after that book what I read, that the company went in the room, eventually he recovered, or this and that happened, and then now he's striving and he's having probably an office with computers, with what and everything else. So it's not about your age. And I always tell people challenge me usually, why are you talking about relationship when you are not in a relationship? Why are you talking about parenting when you are not a parent? Why are you at that age? It's not about the age, it's about what you can offer. If you are at the age of 17 and you are capable, why must we deny you? It doesn't make any sense, because at the age of 17, that child had picked up ever since they were young. So at my age, I had picked up ever since I was young, and also ever since I started doing what I'm doing. So it's only fair that we shouldn't really concentrate on our age, but we also concentrate on what we are capable of, and also being able to deliver at our best ability. That's why they say you are never too late to achieve your dream. So if you are at 50, you can still do something. But then if you are at 30-something, don't wait to get to 50 for you to do something.
Okay. I actually understand that when most authors, they're writing books, they go through so many challenges as like, for example, not getting a publisher, for example, to source for funds to print your own copies and all that. So what are some of the challenges that you have picked up during this whole process?
I should say, when I wrote the book, I was probably at the most difficult place of my life. But there's also a chapter that talks about survive and bounce. And then if you read down the chapter, it says testing time for a greatest testimony and comeback. So what I'm trying to address there is that, yes, we have challenges, but do we really say it's challenges? Or do we say it's lessons for us to do what we want to do? Bring me a person who does not have challenges, and then I'll probably offer you $1 million. Even the ones that have $1 million on their account, they still experience challenges. For me, before I get into the challenges, it's not necessarily about these challenges that you are experiencing. It's about making sure that the product is out. It's about making sure that whatever you set to do is done. Now, obviously, you will have people that are going to offer to work with you when you are publishing, and some of the people are not necessarily going to be serious. They are going to delay the process. You say, for example, you say you are going to, you want the book to be published in January, and you realize that January is not over. January is over, but now you want to publish, and this person is just quiet. So that's one of the challenges. People are not always serious. They can put your dream on hold while they're pursuing their dreams. So that's one challenge, and sometimes you really need help from these people. You cannot do without them. So number one challenge is the people. Number two challenge is the finances. For you to print as many copies as you'd want to do, it requires you probably to have 100,000 and above, unless you really find a very good publisher who understand, but then also they have the low cost. But on top of that, maybe you find a sponsor who can help you, or maybe you can take the pre-order, then you can use that money from the pre-order to make sure that you print the books, and then the process goes. So finances is really, really hectic because nobody sees what you have up until somebody pick it up and like, wow, this is really a nice book, and we sponsor it, or blah, blah, blah. But the finances are really a challenge. And then the last challenge is yourself. because often in time we look at these external things and we sort of like, yeah, people don't want. But the question is, do you really have what it takes to make sure that your book is challenged? The stories that you are telling yourself inside, oh no, what, I can't do this, I can't do that, no, maybe there's things. These little things that you are telling yourself can really, really hamper the progress of you publishing your book. Because at the end of the day, it's not about everybody else. It's not about not having money. It's not about the people delaying your book. It's about you waking up in the morning and even if you did not have anything to eat, to make sure that that book is published. So the number one challenge that you need to overcome is you need to overcome yourself. And I think as soon as you overcome yourself, then everything else on the other side shall take care of itself.
Okay. Have you experienced the hiccups such as maybe, let me just wait a little bit. No, let me release it next day. Have you postponed it several occasions maybe?
No. That was actually coming from people, but I didn't allow people to dictate what I wanted to do. We were supposed to publish the book in December, but because of the things that I have mentioned that have delayed us, the book was supposed to come out in January, and again because of the same things, then only later when I made a conscious decision to say, Otto, this book needs to be published, hijack the process and make sure that your book is published. So the whole delay, no, maybe, no, what, was actually coming from people, not from myself. But also I didn't allow it to disturb anything. I didn't allow people to win that message in my head that this book needs to go out, regardless of what. And so the postponement and the delays are there, but again, I think it was not really major ones. Because it's just like an artist who is releasing an album.
Yeah.
The fans are waiting, like, when is the album coming out? And that irritates you. So as for me, it was the same, because I also started putting up to say, okay, I started lessening my writing on social media as to everything that you want will come in the book. And then people now kept on, when is the book coming out? When is the book coming out? When is the book? So that whole pressure also from the people was like, no more delays, no more dramas, let the book come out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are your expectations from the book then? Since it's coming out on Friday, so people haven't read it yet.
Sure.
So.
I have been overwhelmed, excitement, mixed feelings, but there's this one thing that is always on top of my head. I want as much as we want the money from the book, I want my book to have an impact. It shouldn't just be a book in a shelf. It should be a book that if a person is having problems with parenting their children, they should be picking up a sentence that will help them parent their kids better. If a person is having a relationship problem, they should be picking up a sentence that will help them to have a different perspective about relationships. If a person wants really to get best to what they do, there is a chapter that speaks about that. If there's a person who is just stagnant and they are not growing, there is a chapter about growth, how you can grow yourself and become a valuable person in the market, wherever, in whatever sphere of life where you are finding yourself. I want that person to read that chapter and get a different perspective. If a person have a problem with their parents, especially me being on radio doing these things, it's things that you really don't see from a guy from the village. Your mother or your father expects you to be a teacher, a police officer, and all these things. So the struggle that I fought with my parents to make them believe that what I'm doing is worth a while. So just give me time. So if there is a person who is going through that, they will read my story, but I'm also giving them certain principles to say, for example, don't fight your parents, don't fight your society, don't fight, do A, B, C, D, E, F to make sure that your results will fight them by themselves. So there are so many interesting chapters, and then also there's a chapter Walk in My Shoes, for example, where I did a mini survey on different professions, not all of them, just different of them. How does it feel to be a teacher, for example? Often in time when we look at teachers, we just like, yeah, just a teacher there. And then when you look at the police officer, when you look at all these other people, do we really think, how does it feel to be that person? What are the challenges? What advices do they have? So if you have a child, for example, who wants to go to become a teacher, you can equally take my book and say, hey, this is how it feels to be a teacher. These are the challenges that I experienced by a teacher. Can you handle this? Because those are the things that are not there. So what I would love is, my expectation is for this book to really have positive impact in society, and also help people to grow regardless of whatever they are going through. Again, the chapter of if you have problems, I'm really discussing it in depth and making sure that you also understand yourself and the world around you, and probably some tips on also how to do these things. So the impact is my expectations. I want somebody to meet me one day like, are you the one who wrote that book? Yes, thank you very much for that book, because it really somehow have changed my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, you've mentioned that you're also on radio. Are you still on radio?
Yes.
I know you were at Base FM, but from my own understanding, Base FM is currently not operating. So where are you currently? I'm
currently having a 1-hour show on national radio, which airs between 6 and 7 every Sunday. So again, it's a talk show, and again, we address what you probably get in the book. Again, if you cannot afford the book, you can listen to radio, but you also wouldn't want one Sunday when I'm not on radio and you want to listen, but then I'm not there. So you might as well have all these platforms running for you. So I'm on national radio every Sunday between 6 and 7.
Yeah, I know I said that's the last question. I wanted to understand how do you manage to balance between being at work and at the same time doing your own hustles, which is now like writing the book.
Look, the whole thing is, I'm actually running my race, and I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in control of myself. I'm in control of my time. I'm in control of everything else. So planning and time management. Like this morning when I woke up, I was like, this is the only really major appointment that is in my schedule. So the whole day I sort of like booked myself off so that I can rest. So time management, I have exactly 24 hours to make sure that everything else that I want to do fits in. And then planning, I plan when to do what, how to do what do I need, and all these other things. Many people struggle because they don't know how to manage their time, they don't know how to manage themselves, which also brings the component of self-leadership. You lead yourself, whether your boss is there or your boss is not there, but also that whole issue of planning really things to make sure that everything that you want to do is on point. And some of these things, again, I'm talking about them in the book. So the easier equation is, I know what I want to do, and I know what I want to achieve. 2, I exactly know that if I have this 24 hours, it has to go to this. Before I go sit at the car wash, I need to make sure that things are done. So people sometimes think I should give them my life because apparently I get an opportunity to sleep on Monday. Yes, I get an opportunity to sleep on Monday because Saturday and Sunday I'm fully working in the office. So isn't it just fair for me to have a little bit of flexibility? And it's a good question that you ask, but also I'm discussing the same concept in one of the chapter that says passion is freedom. When you are passionate about something, it brings that sense of freedom to do things when you want, how you want, and when you want. So I don't need really. People shouldn't say this in a bad light. I don't need somebody to approve a project. If I think of a project, I go do it. If it fails, I do it again. If it fails, I do it again until I become a success. As opposed to a traditional 8 to 5, where I need approved through the system. Sometimes it takes the whole year. For me, it probably takes 1 day. So that whole thing of balancing it's time and planning and being able to manage yourself much better, then everything will obviously be done.
Mm-hmm. We actually have a couple of authors in Namibia, if you have noticed, that actually young of them, but then do you feel like since they fall in and then they fall out again, you see an young author writing a book, releasing a book, and then off they go, disappears with the wind. So do you think that authors in Namibia are not getting the necessary support from individuals and government as well, or what seems to be the challenge really, if you think about it?
We can talk about not getting the necessary support from the government, from individuals. Trust me, this whole thing is about purpose. If you have a purpose and you know exactly where you want to get, you will do anything unimaginable to get what you want. The problem comes if you are doing things because Otto is doing it, because another author is doing it, because another person is doing it. That becomes a problem because you don't understand the reason why they are doing it. Some people disappear because they just did it out of excitement. And the question is always, what happens when the excitement is not there? Because that's when things get even more tougher. The first book is out. Then what? You sold the book and you clearly knew you did not have support for the first one. Why can't you take these resources and reinvest in the second one? And then the second one give you even more so that the third one is even going to be bigger and better. Because now we can talk about the support and all these things, but we can push this aside and say, why did you write the first one? Is there a plan for the second one? Is there a plan for the third one? Is there a plan? If this plan is in place, then the first one, when you have it in your hands, think already of the second one. Because if you are waiting for support, I've been hearing politicians in the street, let's wait for the government. And it's 28 years now, 27 years. We are still waiting for the government. We are still waiting for our parents to help us. Are you still going to continue waiting for your parents and for the government to help you? Or you stand up and say, I am going to help myself. Instead of waiting, I'm also going to look for people to help me. And then you see what happens. So people who are disappearing sometimes, it's not really about the external factors again. It's about the internal factors that needs to be sorted out.
Well said. But then I'm now curious to know whether you're working on the second one. Whether people about when you release the first one,
yes,
you need to be working on the second one. So are you planning on releasing the second one? And when is it coming out?
I'm not planning to write a second book. I'm writing my second book.
Okay.
Yes. When it's coming out will be determined by the first one, because you also don't want to because people are still reading this book. This book is still probably so much relevant. It will remain relevant for many years. But you don't want, when people are still enjoying the meal and you'll be like, can you please stand up from the sitting room because we want to clean. So the time frame is the second one is going to be coming out. It's going to be mandated by the vibe of the first book. Are people still interested in this one? Are they still talking about it? or it's now the time to give them something else. And I shall also emphasize the fact that what I did with my first book, it has so much of my personal story. Yo, watch the second one.
So which means the second one is going to bring more of your story?
I cannot say. I keep you in suspense.
Okay.
But just know the second one is probably going to be bigger and better. Because this is the thing. When I'm writing my books, I've checked the level of our authors in the country. Again, don't get me wrong. I compete with myself. I'm not competing with anyone. But I analyzed the situation of the authors in the country, and I said to myself, how do we reach the standard of South Africa? How do we reach the standard of America? How do we make sure that when I write a book, I get a call or an email from America to go speak? If I can take my writing to that level, then that means my purpose and my destination is only here, local. But obviously people are different. Some just want to do it at a small scale. But I'm looking at the bigger scale, that when we are done with the second book, people had already read the first one. I would want to take the level even greater, so that we are not just, here. It's something that really goes beyond.
No, thank you so much, Otto. Anything else you want to add, maybe? And before we forget, maybe we can just highlight how much the book is selling for and where exactly people can get hold of the book.
The final words probably is just to thank really people who have been involved in the process. When they watch the video, they will know themselves. I also don't like people claiming credit just because they know Otto Kapuka. I think this is not the time for that. We should learn also lessons to make sure that when we have passionate people, when we have friends that wants to do things, kids that wants to really go the extra mile, it's the time to start supporting them. Let's stop buying alcohol and take the $1,000 that you are going to put in the alcohol into your friend who is going to make it in life. My friend always told me, I'm supporting you because it's beneficial to me, which is totally true, because if he does not support me, then who else is going to support me? Because he's working for the government. The government is paying him a salary, so it's only wise if that cycle continues. So really thank you to the people who have been involved in the process. The product is almost out. We have few more hours. We said on Sunday we said 5 days. Now it's few hours for the book to be out. The book is 300. I'm hearing the cries, is there no student price? Is there no what? But as soon as you take that 300 out and you have my copy in your hands, you will never regret taking that 300 out. I think that I can confirm. And if you are a student, this is also the time when you start learning that you need to start investing in yourself. Because if you don't invest in yourself, don't wait anybody to invest in you. And obviously when we go in the shops around, whether you are a student, whether you are what, and you see something that you really know it's going to add value to your life, they don't say this is a student price. You just buy it because you know it will make you a better person. When you become a better person, the 300 will be trickled to 600. And then, and then it continues. So the book will be for 300. You can reach me on my social media, which is Otto Kapuka, and then you can get all the information. We are not putting the books in the bookshops yet because we have pre-orders. So we need to distribute the books to the people who have done their pre-orders, and then the second round we again announce as to in what bookshops you find the book. The planning is already there, probably almost 90% done. We just need to tie the loose ends as far as the bookshops are concerned. But the good news is we'll get the book to you wherever you are.
Okay.
Yes, we'll get the book to you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Wherever, even if you are in South Africa, because I have already seen people from South Africa, they are asking for the book. People from wherever, we'll get the book. People from Ochikuku, they want the book. We'll get the book to you. Okay. We'll make the fastest plan to make sure that when other people are talking about this specific book, you are also talking about it because you have it and because you made that sacrifice to get it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Otto.
Thank you too.